that?
Oh, no way!
What is it?
Oh, get out! I'm reacting!
What are you wearing? Charlie! Hi, Brad, and my dad has recommended this scary animation video to watch, and it's Isla's first ever time watching a scary animation. I'm scared. So yeah, this one's a compilation. It's got 4 of them. So yeah, let's watch it. The elevator horror story. No, horror story.
When I was 19 years old in 1985 on New Year's Eve.
Just pause that. I hate the voice. The voice is just not mad. 1985. I'm scared already.
My friends and I went to a rooftop bar of a hotel about a half hour before midnight.
What's wrong? Isla, what's wrong? You said show your true reaction and that voice is funny. Guys, yesterday me and Isla and my dad and my mother went to Five Guys, yeah? Still the whole story. No, and my dad was doing an impression of the voice upstairs, and everyone was staring at him because he was doing it really loud. It was
It was 7:35 and we went to Five Guys for a burger and cheese.
A burger and cheese, you had 2 chips.
I looked across to my left and I seen a creature crawling across my table. I stopped eating my burger. I ran to the toilet and it was $5.73.
That's not even a time.
What?
I ran down to my car because I had forgotten my camera.
Oh no, this is gonna go wrong. I'm scared.
We'll have plenty of time to get back up there.
Don't scare me. Isla, we need to watch it. You keep. Is that a camera or a phone? A camera.
I grabbed my camera
Elevator,
and I got
elevator.
into an
I'm
elevator
scared.
all by myself. About halfway up, the elevator
I
started
am.
shaking and it stopped completely.
It started shaking, Isla. I don't like it. I don't like it. Elevator scare me.
I was trapped. I have always had a problem with confined spaces, so this was not an ideal situation.
Oh, it's floor 13. No. There's a horror book about foot number 13. I don't like it. As you know, I hate the number 13.
For me.
It's only 40 seconds
After a few
in.
minutes, everything went silent that was going on outside. Then out of nowhere, the elevator lights went out.
I don't want to watch it. Alice making me laugh because of her reaction. Yeah, but it's gone dark, and imagine being there by yourself.
Started to hear children laughing. But this was not the type of place.
Oh, that picture! I'm sorry. Don't fart. I pulled a muscle here.
My heart started beating faster and faster.
Don't like that.
Harder and harder. Then all of a sudden, I passed out. As I woke up, I noticed that I could not move or talk. I thought to myself, not sleep paralysis again. Then a light started.
Your laugh scared me. What's wrong? What's wrong? Okay.
Flicker on and off, and then all of a sudden, I see a black figure.
Oh, black figure, no. I don't like this. I'm scared. No, don't. I have
To
a
the
thing
left,
about seeing
in the
things I
corner
don't
of the
like.
elevator, crouching down, smiling at me. I
How
tried
can you
to
see it
scream,
smile
but
if it's a shadow?
I tried to move, but I couldn't. A guy came over the loudspeaker and told me there was an electrical short and that he would have me out soon. There's a camera in the elevator, so to the security guard it looked like I was just laying there. I guess they figured I was drunk, being that it's New Year's. Anyways, every
I don't like
attempt to
this.
scream or move, that figure would just start laughing at me and pointing. This whole time the lights were flickering. And all of
Can I just leave. I don't like. Please, just watch it. It's
So,
scary.
I can hear the huge crowds counting down for New Year's.
Oh, he's gonna miss
10.
it.
Their dark figure is staring at me. And now with a menacing smile, with 10 fingers up.
Oh.
He's still looking at me with
I don't like it.
and
Now we
fingers
know how
up.
to scare
And he's
Isla.
moving closer. 8. He
Oh,
was
he's getting closer, he's getting closer. He's getting closer. And he can't even move.
still
This
looking
isn't a
at me
real
with
story,
8
is
fingers
it?
up. And he's
Yeah.
closer. 7. The same thing. 6. The same
It's gonna
thing.
be this face. It's gonna go.
5. The same thing.
Same thing.
4. He's drooling. And he's much closer. 3. He's closer. 2. He was closer. Then the lights quit flickering and it was pitch black. Then all of a sudden, outside went silent again.
Gonna pop into his face in it.
I felt breathing in my lap.
I don't like it at all.
And then out of nowhere, I hear 1. I couldn't breathe. The light started to flicker again, and then the figure was on my chest. And all of a sudden, it was gone. And I can talk and move again. Usually when I have sleep paralysis, something bad happens. Once I got out of the elevator an hour later, I found out that there was a brawl during the countdown on the rooftop bar that I was at. And 4 people were killed by some maniac who was waiting until the end of the countdown to start hacking up people with a machete.
Does that mean he's sort of lucky that he wasn't there? Yeah, but it was the guy in the elevator, the black figure.
Ever since then, I have not had a sleep paralysis episode.
I don't like that. I hate it. Next story. True pizza delivery horror story. Why has it got to
I
be
lived
horror?
in a city in central Ohio that begins with a...
I lived in a city in central Ohio. That was good though, wasn't it? Ohio. Ohio. Yoo-hoo, Ohio.
college that I lived near. I attended a different college than the one I mentioned and made the 20-minute drive from the city to that college. I also worked nights as a pizza delivery man in the city
you
and
work
the surrounding
nights?
suburbs.
When you could work daytime, could you?
One night, I had an order in the town where my college is located, which is a smaller suburban city northwest of my home city. Now,
Seems
this call
normal.
occurred during what my coworkers and I refer to as the dead hour, which is just before the shop closed at 1 in the morning. I begrudgingly took the pizzas, got in the car, and plugged the address into the GPS.
What if it's like a not real address? It's like somewhere that goes
The house
to
was
somewhere.
located off on a back road in what looked like a sparsely populated area.
A back road.
Not thinking much of this, I drove up Route 315 to I-270 East and exited.
Why do we need to say
After passing
exactly?
through downtown, the cemetery, and the college, I drove through some subdevelopments and then onto
I'm
a
not gonna get
smaller
sleep
road where the
tonight.
house was located. The GPS notified me that I had arrived to my destination, but to my surprise, the house was boarded up. I noticed that there was a small shed in the back of the house that had a small window. There was a
Must be in
flickering
there.
light in the window. At this point, almost every red flag had gone off in my head, but I knew my hard-ass boss would be if I whipped out on this delivery, so I proceeded towards the shed. As I got closer to the shed,
I just imagine him opening the door and something jumping out at him, and I just don't like it. Like this.
I heard a rustling in the bushes next to the driveway. Then I heard a man whisper,
To the company, 45, 45.
At that point, a man jumped out.
I'm scared. I don't like this. Is that Spider-Man? I'm really scared. I don't like it. Can I just
bushes
quit
and
watching?
2 other men jumped out of the shed. They were carrying knives and were wearing these long robes.
That's just creepy.
I made it back to the car just in time. One of the assailants managed to slip my arm. As I escaped, I could see the assailant standing in the middle of the road.
Why
looking
would he
pissed.
drive?
I probably drove 90 miles per hour on the way back.
Jesus.
When I got to the shop,
There's
everyone
gonna be
looked
someone in
shocked.
there.
After explaining everything to them,
They're not gonna
we
believe it.
contacted the police and dispatched
Oh, yeah.
a few officers to the house.
Oh, you know what's gonna happen? It's not gonna be boarded up. There's not gonna be anything.
When they
They're not
got
gonna be
there,
there.
the assailants were gone. They found some drug paraphernalia in the shed, and some ropes and some weird torture equipment.
They must have like done someone up and tortured them. True road trip horror story. Animated. Animated. Oh no, it's a road trip.
I was on a road trip with my friend Tom throughout upstate New York. On our second night of driving, we were taking some peaceful back road through the woods because we were tired of the noisy highway. So as we were driving down this narrow, dilapidated road, Tom suddenly really needed to use the bathroom. I asked him if he could hold it, but he said that if he held it any longer, his bladder would explode. So I just sighed and tried to find like a gas station or something.
In the middle of nowhere.
There was nothing to be seen though. So I was thinking about pulling over and letting him in the woods, but finally I saw lights cutting through the darkness up ahead.
What is that? Ah.
It was a 7-Eleven, thank God. Before I'd even parked the car, Tom flew out the door and raced inside.
Oh, there's no toilets in there. But he's like in the car by himself.
Waiting in the dark car, I was actually hungry, so I pulled out some change from my pocket. It would at least be enough for a bag of Cheetos or something. So then I went inside. As I was walking through the store examining everything on the shelves, I felt a tingly feeling on my neck, like I was being watched. I turned around and saw a bearded man in a yellow suit casually slip into the other aisle.
It must be the worker.
I rolled my eyes, picked up a bag of Cheez-Its, purchased them, and walked out back to my car.
Hold on, someone's gonna be standing there and staring at him. I get really scared with these things, that's why I don't watch them.
Looking at the dark woods behind the 7-Eleven.
You need to watch. I am looking. Why is he not sitting in the
Tom
car?
had been gone forever, so I texted him and he told me he was just finishing taking a huge which was classic Tom.
Poo.
I was just crunching on my Cheez-Its when I heard somebody go, psst, psst. I quickly looked around but saw nobody.
She don't like it. Oh, that's so creepy.
Finally, I spotted a man peeking his head around a tree in the dark woods.
Looks like
His
Robin
face was all
Hood.
dirty, and he had glassy
He's wearing
eyes.
green.
We stood staring at each other for what seemed like the longest time,
Just get in the car.
until he
I
said,
know.
"Come over here. I want to show you something." Hell no. I got in my car and locked the doors, texting Tom to hurry the f*** up. I told him there was a creepy weirdo outside the car, and he was all like, "Alright, be right over."
He's still there.
Later on, he walked out the doors and climbed into the car, and I hit the gas to get as far away from that f***ing place as possible.
Oh, he's gonna be in the back seat. He's gonna be in the back
As we were
seat.
driving, I looked back one last time in the rearview mirror. I saw 3 cloaked, bulky men standing in the trees, surrounding the 7-Eleven.
Don't, can we just not carry on? I don't like this.
To say I still have no idea what the f*** was going on at that place.
Oh, it's the next story.
My
True
name is
camping
Yusuf.
alone.
I'm 21 years old.
What happened to
A
the
few
skinny
weeks ago,
dipping?
my parents decided to go to Lebanon for a few days while I stayed home. I was happy to have a few days to myself, so I decided to drive to the lake which my family went camping at when I was home. It was remote, surrounded by trees, and barely anyone goes there.
Why?
I decided to stay for one night though. As I got there, I decided to dare myself into skinny dipping since I was alone.
Dare yourself.
To be honest, it was quite refreshing and relaxing. As it was getting dark, I took out some firewood to dry up with a campfire.
Good job
and
at
got my
least
lunch.
covering it.
That night,
In Five Guys, yesterday again, same place, yeah, same time. Dad was saying he watched this confirmation thing, that's why he recommended it to us, and he was telling us about this one in particular. That's why Isla keeps mentioning it.
dared myself into sleeping naked under my towel as I would never get another chance like this. As
Why
I
would he
woke
do
up,
that?
I was shocked. My towel was gone. I couldn't find my clothes either. felt scared as this
I think I
man
know
was
what's
no
gonna
longer
happen.
with my luck. My car keys weren't stolen, so I decided to get home. However, since I was staying for one
Wonder what's
night,
gonna happen.
I didn't bring any extra clothes. Due to my condition,
Why
I
would
had
you
to
even
drive
do
on
this in the
those
first
fairly
place?
low
I know what
roads to
happened,
avoid
Joey.
any exposure to the public.
Because somebody
It
told
was a
us.
bumpy ride.
I don't
It was worth
know.
it. After a few hours, I saw a man in the distance near the road. He tripped and hit his head on a rock. Despite my condition, I knew I needed to stop and give him some help. But as I saw him, I realized he was wearing the same clothes I wore yesterday.
He's still naked. Why would you just climb out the car with nothing on? Probably forgot.
I got out to ask if he's okay, but he didn't move.
He looks
As
scary.
I got closer, he grabbed my hand and looked at me. He had wide eyes and a huge, terrifying smile. I was more scared than I like to admit. I quickly got in my car and drove away. I managed to get home by sunset, and it took me a few minutes to get the balls to run to my front door. I have no return plan, and his smile haunted me ever since.
I'm glad that's over. Gosh, I've never known you to be this scared. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight. She's scared of my elbow. No, because she's gonna poke me, it tickles. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. This one was very interesting. Yeah. Because I got to see Isla's reaction to her first. Yeah, but that was not. That wasn't even bad to what I did with Dad. I was screaming. Yeah, but I was laughing because I was scared. He was laughing at the voices. Make sure you follow my TikTok and Instagram. It's on the screen. Both of the usernames are exactly the same. Tiana Wilson. Bye. Wait. You forgot something. Follow my TikTok, please. Thank you. I said that.